And now for our feature presentation.
Class teacher bubble.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thunder and Lightning Gaming. I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning, and we were talking about Star Wars.
We were talking about Star Wars, yeah. Quick happy birthday to Tails the Fox, because what you were just listening to was the soundtrack to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which came out today, November 24th, on the Sega Genesis, 31 years ago.
Cool.
Today...
You're all ready for Crimbus.
That's been there for years.
I know.
Is that on the...
I just happened to notice it. I was like, is there a stocking behind me?
Yeah, is it in the...
Yeah.
The frame?
Yeah. It says Dungeon Master on it.
Yeah. Do you know who got me that? Dr. Emery Payne.
Oh.
Yeah.
Member of this channel.
Yeah.
Who, we'll talk about at some point.
Yeah. But not right now, because we've got to talk about the three ladies of the hour. So welcome to Cinematic Relief, our movie and TV podcast. This is the only podcast we're doing today.
You can throw me under the bus. It's cool. It's fine. We already announced what we were doing today.
Chris isn't caught up on Loki, which is completely and utterly fine. We'll just do it some other time. Loki was great, and I'm sure
I'm 2 episodes away.
Whenever he finishes it, he'll be down to do a podcast. He's already agreed.
It'll be the very next Friday. We'll have a Loki podcast.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
But and this is my fault. The very next Friday, you mean 2 weeks from now, because I will be in Philadelphia next weekend. I have PAX Unplugged, the last con of the year. But yes, so yesterday we saw the Marvels in theater. We had turkey and various accoutrements to eat alongside turkey, and then we abandoned our families and went to the movie theater, where we were instantly spoiled on a C plot in the movie, but we'll get to that later.
Well, no, let's get to it now. Let's talk about our movie-going experience, because there were a few weird things. We'll get that out of the way, then we'll jump into the actual movie itself. But they had popcorn bowls shaped as eggs. By the way, anybody who hasn't seen this podcast before, we are going to spoil all of the Marvels.
Yes, yeah.
But we do invite you live to join in a conversation with us if you've seen it before. But just be careful, because we are going to talk all about the movie The Marvels.
Spoilers for The Marvels, and then we'll do a separate, because this is, I think, important, and I really want to talk about it. Let's do a separate spoiler warning for when we talk about the end credit scene.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so leave now or forever hold your
dick. Anyways, so they had the cat eggs from the movie, which I looked directly at that thing, and I was like, that must be some weird troll shit. And
Pauline was on the touch pad thing, and she wanted to see whatever if they were doing anything for that, and it said floor kitten, popcorn box. And I out loud said, "That's not what it's called." Oh, Goose must have kittens in this movie.
Yep.
And then, of course, when we get to that part in the movie, it's this big reveal. It's a small part of the movie, but it's like they find the egg. They're like, "What is this thing?" And
they didn't even put that shit in the trailers.
No.
Was like, we were sitting in the theater, and I was like, I walked all the way up to the door without that getting spoiled for me.
What would have been why are they starting to be shaped like things? Why couldn't it have just been a bucket with all three of their logos on it, and that's it?
I don't know. One of them was just straight up a statue of one of the troll dolls from the Troll movie.
I guess the head, you scalp them and then eat the popcorn brain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That troll's name is Poppy, and she's voiced by Anna Kendrick. Don't ask me why I know that. I've never seen these fucking movies. I just happen to know that.
Whatever. But so then we get into the theater, and the audio. This has never happened to me in my movie-going life, but the audio had some like weird 8-bit shit going on.
You said that, and it's a perfect way to describe it. It sounded like
just compressed audio,
compressed 16-bit, like crunchiness.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we didn't want to say anything because we were like, maybe the movie will start and it'll be gone. But it persisted through the trailers, and we were like, we got
to the like cinematic trailers, like when the lights go down and shit,
right?
And we were like, okay, this isn't gonna get better. So I went and told the guy, and I really thought they were either gonna like, because it's Thanksgiving night,
mm-hmm.
and the theaters are empty anyways. I really thought they were gonna relocate us.
Yeah,
was my thought,
or just say, sorry, fuckos, here's your $20 back.
Yeah, you can watch the movie if you want. It's gonna suck.
Right.
And here's your money back is exactly, most likely what would have happened. But he said, yeah, I'll go give it a look. And he goes up, and the trailers are happening, and literally you hear, like, if somebody unplugs headphones or something, it's just like...
all the sound stopped, and the only sound in the theater was me and Pauline commenting on the Aquaman 2 trailer that we were watching silently.
But, you know...
if you were in the theater at that moment, this is what you would have heard. Oh, it's Boba Fett. Because Boba Fett plays Aquaman's dad in those shitty films. I only assume this one is shitty because it's a sequel to the first one. That was shitty.
But about 2 minutes later,
yes,
it was completely fixed.
Yeah, much to my surprise. Shout out to the staff at this AMC.
I did in fact shout him out as we left.
Yes, you did, and he was completely confused.
Yeah,
because he definitely
it was
didn't
2.5 hours later. Hey, Toga. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving indeed. You're going to want to mute us because we're about to spoil the entirety of The Marvels, a movie that you are very excited about. So mute us or leave or whatever. We appreciate the support, but we are going to spoil this entire movie.
Yes.
Facebook has chosen now to update me.
He said bye.
Bye.
Bye. But then the rest of our movie-going experience was fine. So,
yeah.
Now let's get into the Marvels.
Mm-hmm.
The pros, the cons, the goods, the bads, the exciting moments. What stood out? Where would you like to begin?
I want to begin the way we always begin, by asking you how you liked it.
Okay.
In general, like good movie, bad movie, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I thought, well, no, we actually do this. We rate our Marvel movies.
True. Yeah.
Out of 5. Anywhere from 0.1 to 5.0. I would give this about a 3.8.
Okay.
I think.
You keep talking while I find the document where I write these down.
Sure. This one was... it did blow away my expectations. I really expected to not like this movie. And so far... Phase 5 has been nothing but bangers. Yeah. Which is really exciting.
And you brought up a great point, which is you and I also expected to hate Ant-Man 3, and we ended up really liking it. So maybe that's the play. Maybe we should just like show up already angry, waiting to hate the movie, and then we'll come out liking it.
It's working so far. Well, you know what else too? I mean, I don't know when in the conversation we want to talk about this, but they're finally out of their weird phase. Like, Phase 4 was just bizarre, and it was always going to be bizarre. They told us before it even started, hey, it's going to get weird.
Right. And it was also, like, kind of jumbled up by COVID.
Yep.
Like, there's no way WandaVision was supposed to be the first thing of Phase 4. It was clearly supposed to be Black Widow.
Yeah.
As, like, a transitionary, like, here's a flashback movie about a character that you won't see after this. And instead we got WandaVision, which was great, but it was just like it was definitely like a very high concept, like, and it's topical because the main character of this movie, one of the main characters of this movie, that was the last time she showed up. That was like 3.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell that the order of things was jumbled around. I just found it. It took forever.
Oh, wow.
The Marvels. We're missing some entries, but we'll figure it out later.
Okay.
We're
putting the official rating in.
I'm consulting the rating gods. I should have stream open. Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
No, that's fine. This movie did something which I really didn't think was going to happen, and I hope some people, at least some fans, walk away having the same feeling. I saw these 3 characters, these 3 women, the only one of which, Captain Marvel, being the only one that I care about. And to be honest, not that much. I've seen Captain Marvel in 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not overly attached to, or I wasn't overly attached to Captain Marvel.
Isn't it 3 technically? Oh no, the third thing is Miss Marvel, which was just a scene from this movie. That's right. Yeah, so 2. 2 things.
2. So,
she was in Shang-Chi for like a split second.
Was she?
Yeah, in the end credit scene.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Endgame. End scenes aside, after the credit scenes aside.
Yeah.
She's only been in 2.
Yeah.
This movie made me care about all 3 of these women.
Yeah.
And I had a thought where I was like, and I haven't had this feeling in an entire phase, but I was like, oh, I can't wait for them to team up with Spider-Man. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I just had a moment of like, oh,
yeah. I'm
they
actually
did it.
kind of if we can talk about the future and teaming up and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of upset that they lost the ability to switch places.
Oh,
I was
know.
kind of really liking that, and I too was in the mindset of like these 3, Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, Cersei, they're all doing their weird stuff. They're switching constantly, but they did end up fixing the issue at the end.
The issue I was having with the MCU up until this moment was there's not enough superheroes I like for you to keep going. I'm not excited for the next Avengers movie at this point. This movie has finally tipped the scales. Because at the very least, I've got Spider-Man, I've got Doctor Strange, I've got the Marvels, which are 3. I've
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, yep, absolutely. Well, he's not really... No, Star-Lord's retired.
No, it specifically, at the end of Guardians 3, it specifically says Star-Lord will return.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so sure, Star-Lord.
But none of I think all the other ones are done.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, the way that movie ended is Rocket is still part of the Guardians.
And Thor, I guess. I'm sorry, going back to what we were just listing. Thor should also be...
Right, Thor.
And then Ant-Man and his daughter.
Ant-Man, daughter. I've got enough. I'm not even like She-Hulk. I'm excited for She-Hulk, let alone the actual Hulk, assuming, Bruce Banner's still doing shit. I've got enough now. But I've got enough new ones too. I'm excited for Hawkeye and his apprentice. And like if Moon Knight shows up and he sucks, or if what's her name from the Eternals shows up and I don't care about her for a minute, these movies might even make me care more about them. But I've got enough things to fall back on where they're not going to ruin the experience if they show up and I'm like, man, I don't like this one.
Yeah.
Even what's her name? The new Black Panther is exciting. I felt like it was an excuse for them to all meet. What about Daredevil? Yeah, I'm excited about Daredevil too.
I was excited about Daredevil, and then some nonsense has happened with the production of that television show.
Oh, it sounds like it's better for us though.
Maybe. I don't know. I genuinely like whenever production is like completely started over from the beginning, like you never know.
We had that happen to a movie recently though that we ended up really liking. I can't remember.
I believe
what it
you.
was.
I don't remember what it was. It was a Marvel movie?
Not necessarily. It was just a big name movie that they were like, we're starting over. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't either.
But
I believe you.
even though this movie wasn't my most hype movie of all, it did something very important for me in the MCU. This movie for me is like, if we keep watching Marvel movies with our friend John, who's just about to get to Infinity War, this movie to me is the one where I'm like, all right, there's going to be some shit for a while, but like it's going to start peaking. It's going to start coming back.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people you care about again. But yeah, tell me what you thought about this movie.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think would you give it a 3.8?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd give it like a I think I'd give it like a solid I think I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
That's not the scale we use.
That's the scale I use. You use that one and I use this one.
Okay.
I think.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. I remember doing that.
Okay.
I really liked it. I think I had a little more optimism going into it than you did. I'm not gonna lie. I watched that first trailer they released and I was not excited for it. But they I don't know. It was good. It did a lot for the character of Miss Marvel, because I think that my biggest issue going into this was I love Carol. She's great. She's a cool character. Monica seems neat. Haven't seen much of her before this movie, but she seems cool. She's got a cool good head on her shoulders, and she, basically like solved WandaVision. Kamala Khan sucks, and her show is bad, and she's a bad character, and they ruined her powers on purpose. And
speaking in reference to the only thing we've seen her in before this, Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Like that's coming into this experience. That's all we had to go off of with her.
Miss Marvel,
you and I have the exact same feelings on that.
Miss Marvel is such a weird viewing experience, because you meet this character who's a huge fan of all this Marvel stuff just like us. She's a high schooler, so they kind of sort of try to do the high school drama thing. Miss Marvel, I think, would have been better if it was like 9 or 10 episodes, but it was the standard Marvel 6, so it was completely rushed, the storyline. There was one episode that is just completely skippable, like, no matter how you look at this show. There's a character she meets halfway through, and I think probably like 4 scenes later, she betrays her and turns out to be the main villain. Just things happen too quick. The show is filled to the brim with nobody actors, which is fine, except it wasn't fine this time, because a lot of the nobody actors, the main character included, was bad. And then the show just sort of ends, and her powers are not the way they should be. And then the show is just like, by the way, you're an X-Men, credits. And it's like, what the fuck did I just watch? And I will say this, because this is relevant information as well. That show sucks. Not as bad as Secret Invasion, but pretty bad.
Which was also lead up to this movie that
That's
we
what
just
I mean.
watched.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like, oh man, a lot of things leading up to this. Can I talk about Miss Marvel in the arc that we've had thus far with her from Miss Marvel to this movie? You and I, you just stated extremely well, did not care for the show, the acting, the characters. It wasn't that great. It wasn't well written. It just felt like a sitcom.
And I think that you and I share this opinion with a lot of people. You and I and our friend Kelsey are kind of in the minority with with disliking Moon Knight. A lot of people really like that show. Most people dislike Miss Marvel.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anybody have much good to say about her.
Which is really disappointing, because the character in the comics is like really cool, and a lot of people like her.
My first experience with Miss Marvel was from that shitty Avengers game, and to be honest, she was the reason I kept wanting to try to play it.
Isn't she the main character?
Yeah. And she's super cool.
Yeah.
And her powers are similar to Mr. Fantastic, I guess, and maybe that's why they didn't want to do anything.
Yeah,
but they're different enough.
I could go on and on about this. They're different enough. They didn't have to, but that's not the point of the discussion.
Miss Marvel ends.
That shitty Avengers game right there.
Oh, there it is. Miss Marvel ends. We go a few months of just being like, what the fuck? And then the trailer for this movie drops.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh
my god, is it not just her screaming into the camera the entire time?
Hey Anthony, how do you like the Ms. Marvel's the Marvels trailer? Well, I couldn't hear it. I can't actually hear anything anymore because Iman Vellani is like bad and or good at screeching into a microphone, and I was just like, but
yeah,
what you're getting at is there's two scenes in the trailer where she's like screaming. Both those scenes were in the film. That's it, though.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes was even, like, toned down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was way less yelling. I think they might have got widespread complaints, which makes perfect sense because it was really not great to listen to.
It was obnoxious.
It was obnoxious.
Similarly to the show, what they had done to that character was obnoxious in the way they make her act.
I hoped, and I held on to hope in the back of my mind, in the back of my heart, that those two scenes were right at the beginning of the movie and she would have some sort of arc, and she absolutely does in this film.
Well, yeah, she definitely has an arc, but beyond that, you can just tell that it's going from TV to prime time.
Yeah.
And her acting, and I almost want to deflect my comments about her acting in Miss Marvel, because now I'm wondering if it was shitty direction and shitty writing, because she's way more just like a regular person and like charming. Like everything they want me to like about her, I liked in this movie.
Yes. Yeah.
She was charming.
I agree.
She was funny.
She was funny.
She
wasn't
cute.
annoying. The fact that she's a nerd and she's always referencing things didn't get like too like ham-fisted.
Right. Everything that they wanted to accomplish in Miss Marvel, but just made it obnoxious, ended up being really tasteful in this movie, and it made me appreciate and like the character. I walked out of there being like, shit, okay, I'm on board. If she can remain like this, I'm on board. I like it.
I also do want to mention that I think part of that might be that because the Marvels was her first time. Miss Marvel was her first time acting, and this is her second time acting, and she's also acting alongside some of the most famous people on the planet, like Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Brie Larson.
Yeah. So I think that might have helped a little. Interesting. I looked at the director. It's not the person who directed the first Captain Marvel movie. I thought it was, but it's not. It's someone different.
Oh, okay.
This director, Nia DaCosta, female, has only ever directed 3 movies: Little Woods, the Candyman remake, and this. Oh, and she directed 1 episode. Oh, no, sorry. She directed the mid-credits scene of episode 6 of Miss Marvel. Oh. No, she didn't. That's a scene from this film. You don't have to credit her for that.
Let's talk about the other 2 main characters and what we took away from them in this movie. Monica was great. Except for one thing that I do want to talk about that we talked about after watching it. This is just poor writing. This is just lazy writing. But they kept doing that thing where it's like 5 times they did this.
It's I believe it's referred to, and if it's not, I'm doing it right now. It's referred to as the Velma effect.
Okay, well, it's the origins is like 60s sci-fi. That's where this shit comes from, where it's like, I'm going to say a bunch of nonsense, then I'm going to dumb it down for you idiots.
No, it's the same. The reason it's getting so tiring is because it's the same delivery every single time. Science, 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 talking, silence. And then someone goes, in English, please?
Yeah, they didn't go that far this time.
And then the other person goes, it's a big hole or something. They explain it for dumb cavemen.
I really thought we were like 3 decades out from having shit like that in movies.
And you know what?
It's just shitty. It's dumb when that happens.
Relative to the conversation, I think the worst like most terrible example of that is from Avengers: Age of Ultron. Maria Hill and Nick Fury are walking down a hallway, and she does that thing. She's explaining Wanda and Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah.
And she says a bunch of stuff, and then he gives her like this like look of like, I didn't understand anything you said. And then she says, he's fast and she's weird, which is just like, you went too far in the... That is a way too far of a oversimplification. If I was Nick Fury, I'd be like, don't be an asshole. What do you mean she's weird?
Right. Speaking of Nick Fury,
Speaking
I want to divert.
Nicholas J. Fury.
I want to divert for half a second. That man has maybe the best line in this movie of any MCU movie there's ever been.
I don't think we can even like
do it justice.
I don't think we can talk about it. I just I have to say, and this is not me exaggerating at all. He has a line read. It's the funniest thing. It's intentionally funny. We were supposed to laugh at it. This is the most I've ever laughed at a Marvel movie joke. I was in tears laughing. I had to take my glasses off to wipe my eyes twice. It was so funny. It's funnier than Star-Lord telling Nebula to get in the car.
So they're both falling, and everybody down on the ground is screaming, all worried. Right as they're about to hit, it switches to Captain Marvel. She falls on the ground. Everybody's like,
she's fine.
She's fine because she's
invincible.
yeah. Everybody's like, and Nick Fury's right in the center, like, oh no, it's cool, it's Carol. And then just hard cut to the next scene. And the delivery, the scene, the hard cut, like it's the funniest thing that Marvel's maybe ever done. Which is funny because it's coming out of a movie. One of the only other complaints I have with a lot of bad line reads that are just hard to understand. Well, it's not even that they're delivered poorly. It's just like,
oh yeah,
I don't know what they said.
I think that might be some rushed audio issues, maybe some ADR lines.
I think you said that. You might be right.
I think once this comes to streaming and Blu-ray, if Blu-ray
might
even
get
exists
fixed
when this movie
Good
releases,
point.
then it'll be fine. But yeah, there was just some lines that we kind of like had to decipher. But no, I wanted
the best one being Captain the shit.
Yeah, it really does sound like she's saying that. But yeah, this movie was very funny. Like, and it wasn't funny like the way The Room is funny. Like, it was genuinely funny. There was a couple moments where I was like, and I had this moment like halfway through where I was like, I want to ask Chris, but it's not important. We're watching a movie right now. But I wanted to be like, this is supposed to be funny, right? Because I'm laughing a lot.
No, the whole thing was tastefully done. There was a lot of intent in it. They nailed it. Like, they nailed what they were going for. I do, just to jump back to Monica.
Oh, sure.
I know I said a few complaints about her in some stupid lines they had, but the character's cool. The powers are cool. The acting was great. Really like her. This was a solid entry for her out of like 2 entries. I'm excited to see what happens next for her. And Captain Marvel was great as always. Like just another
yeah,
awesome job.
I think that the man, all the issues I thought I was going to have with this film were just not there. I think that the little we're not talking about why we're mad at each other thing that they had going on lasted just long enough.
Yep.
I think
I really didn't want to get bogged down with that. It's another cliche storyline.
Yeah.
There's a couple. All the fight scenes were really cool in this movie, especially where being a D&D player, if you're any sort of tabletop RPG player, just kind of getting in the mindset of like, who's doing what and where and how is it affecting them at all times. And from what I saw in one viewing, it's the consistency of like, she can't fly. She's also, I wanted to talk about this. One quick thing, I don't know if you noticed, when they're fighting the big bad for the first time.
Oh, for the first time, yeah.
For the first time. And they're all switching. At this point, they know how to switch when they're fighting and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But when it's Kamala versus one of like the grunt people, she's doing fine. Whenever she's fighting the big bad, she's getting fucked up, pushed back, then when they switch, it's like
I didn't specifically notice that, but I was noticing some things like that from time to time. There's a really cool shot. It was in the trailer, unfortunately, but there is a really cool shot. Speaking of how this would play out in D&D, a really cool shot where they're facing this way and they shoot and then they switch and now they're facing this way, so both their shots miss.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat.
Yep.
Just a lot of cool stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to we haven't done this in a while. I just want to like go in order real quick because there's a few things that I think both of us want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole movie is based around this fucking ongoing Kree-Skrull civil war that no one gives a shit about. But
just had to explain that to John this morning.
Yeah, I was reminded halfway through watching this that Hala, the planet that they're trying to terraform one element at a time, is the planet that she lived on with Jude Law for. Also, when they show the flashback of her destroying the Supreme Intelligence, it's like a green face. That's not what it looks like in the movie, is it?
We never see what it looks like. They actually made. I only know this because I watched Captain Marvel 1 today.
Yeah.
Jude Law makes a point of being like, nobody can see the Supreme AI as what it really looks like. That was your first time seeing what it really looks like. So we were seeing what you would be able to see if you could see it. But when you watch Captain Marvel and she's like in the weird sand room with the light flashing in her face, that's what everyone else sees. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Because I saw that and I was like, that's weird because it's one like shot in this movie.
Yeah, nobody. That was kind of what we were seeing in the Marvels was the Professor Oz or whatever behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was in that case, that's a neat touch. Sorry, I do want to make sure Photoshop is closed because
sure.
I literally hear the computer from over.
Yeah, that's fair. We had a photo.
Okay,
oh, it was on.
It was on, yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, we're still live. Can't see us, but we're here. Oh, there we are. Okay.
Okay. All right.
We're all okay. We're all safe. Photoshop can't hurt us from here.
The other thing that I thought was really cool about this movie, this is kind of a cool vibe, right? Okay. The other
just having your gut in frame. Do that one more time.
No,
one more time.
I meant imagine my head and not my.
No, why don't we'll both just do this. This will be how we do the rest of the podcast. Just get a nice shot of Kirby.
Okay, but I'm gonna adjust my camera. I thought it was really cool, and like, if Kevin Feige comes out in an interview and was like, "That was planned," I'm gonna be like, "Bullshit, Kevin." I thought it was really cool that this whole movie, the whole plot of this movie, revolved around the MCU hyperspace system that James Gunn set up back in 2014.
Oh, I know, right?
They explain that like it's technology and not like space magic because both exist in this universe. And they explain how it's glitching and it's just like a set piece of the entire movie. And it's just like it really like there was a moment where there's a lot of movies and I've seen them all, but like there was a moment where I was like, oh, that's not just what happens when Star-Lord's ship goes into hyperdrive. That's how the whole universe, the whole cosmos, the hyperdrive is set up. And it's like a known thing and they can like manipulate it, and they do in this movie, and it's like technology. And I thought that was really cool. And I was excited when it became a major, like basically the MacGuffin of the film was the fast travel technology. And then Captain Marvel, how do you say this? Kills a bunch of people, and everyone's just okay with it.
Are you talking on Hala? Or are you talking on the other two planets?
No, I'm talking on the Skrull planet, where Kamala and Monica are actively trying to save people, and she's like, "Get the fucking ship! They're all dead." It's like, whoa.
Well, you see, I actually kind of liked that because it gave a sense of realism. Because not everybody's going to get saved every single time. I will say, and the CGI artist could have done a little better job of this, there was a few fucking people. There were a few fucking Skrulls that could have made it on that goddamn ship.
Oh, yeah. No, you see Skrulls get crushed to death. That could have maybe, if you waited a few more seconds. Yeah, and then, like, it just cuts to, like 12 Skrulls on a ship just being like, well, that's it. Here we are. And it was just like, and then later on in the movie, they go to the like break into Electric Boogaloo planet where you have to dance and sing.
Oh, I need to. We need to. No. You can't just fly by that. We need to talk about.
No, we'll
them.
talk about it.
Okay,
but I just
all right,
like.
Okay.
they do it again. They're just like oh, that planet's fucked. We gotta go.
Oh, okay. Well, now you got two major things I want to talk about. The people who can only sing and how does that work? I want to talk about that. But also, the major plot hole of this movie, which is she ends up saving Hala. She restores the sun, which took all of 3 minutes. Don't know why she couldn't have done that in the first place.
Yeah. She explains that she didn't know she could, which is fair, but it was a little weird to just be like, and then the final scene of this movie is her doing it.
I thought it was going to kill her. I thought that was like the whole why she wasn't doing it. I thought we were going to lose Captain Marvel in that scene.
Yeah. That would have been, I would have not enjoyed that, I think.
No, that's why I thought they were going to find another way to do it. But all that aside, what was I going to say?
You were going to comment on the break into Electric Boogaloo planet.
Well, both of them. There's 2 planets. One, they Spaceballs. I don't know if you noticed that, but the entire plot of Spaceballs was the first planet that they like steal an element from.
Oh, yeah.
They take all the air from this planet, and I was like, that's what they do. That's the whole plot of Spaceballs.
Haven't seen Spaceballs since I was a child, so.
I really thought they were going to splice in a scene from that movie where like the trees are getting sucked up one by one. It was the same thing. But that planet's dead. That was the Skrull planet.
Mm-hmm.
Then the singing planet, which we'll put that part aside for a minute. We'll talk about that. But they steal all the water, and this planet's like 98% water or something like that.
Yeah.
Those 2 planets are dead.
Yeah.
And that never gets resolved in this movie.
Right.
And Hala is fine
Thriving.
and like great. 2 planets died to save this one planet of Kree that are like kind of Nazis from my understanding. They're just kind of not great. The Kree don't seem great.
It's very unclear where the feud exactly comes from, but it is very clear that the Kree are the villain and the Skrull are the at least maybe not the heroes, but at least benevolence versus malevolence.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, A Break Into Electric Boogaloo is a crazy fever dream of an hour-and-a-half film where everything is dancing, everything is solved by dancing. There's a kid who gets into a violent accident, and all of his wounds are cured by the power of dancing. I'm not joking at all. And the movie takes place on a different planet, and that planet is called Aquakfafafla, and they go there in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, they do. And the whole concept of that planet is they have to sing to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't understand speech.
Yeah, they specifically said their language is song. So when you talk like we're talking in front of them, they can't understand you, which brings into question...
Oh, I've got a few.
They are singing in American English.
Spaceballs cinematic relief when? I'll do... You know what?
That's
on the Patreon. That's going to be on the Patreon, I just decided.
But when they sing, they're singing... the King's English.
Oh, yeah. No, well, that's... So, I have a few... okay. My list of questions. Here they are. Question number 1. So this... They've been doing this for a while. They didn't just decide... This isn't the hip fad of the week. This is their language.
Right.
Is there one key? Do you sing in one key? Do you change keys? How do you know when to change keys?
No matter the scene, everyone was in the same key.
They were either harmonizing or they were unison.
Yeah.
So that they were all singing in one key. How do you decide that? Who decides that? Who decides which key? Because, right. I'd really love to take a look at the scores.
Does God decide the key?
I'd really love to take a look at the scores and see if they're different keys.
Yeah.
Because if they're different keys, now that brings up a whole other question.
There's a scene where they go to a fancy dinner party on this planet, and everyone's like singing over each other like you would talking in a scene like that. And I want to know if that's written down anywhere, like if all that is in the same key, because it didn't sound cacophonous. It just sort of sounded like singing. I did have a moment when they were on that planet where I was just like, oh no, is Brie Larson gonna sing? And then I was just like, oh wait, Brie Larson can sing, and she has an album, and she was in Scott Pilgrim, and she can sing. I don't know, like why and then she
turned into a Disney princess for a minute.
No explanation for the dress. I was gonna bring that up too. Absolutely no explanation for the clearly they have and then she was like, make us some clothes, bitch. Clearly they have like clothes magic that they don't explain. I didn't appreciate that Kamala had her like comic accurate Miss Marvel outfit for like 6.5 scenes between this TV show and this movie, and then she got into this new one, and then they obfuscate her power set even further by giving her a scarf that can punch people.
Yeah.
That is nowhere in the comics. That was very weird. I was like...
This also takes place on Sing Planet.
Mm.
Or Planet Sing. This planet has a name.
I like the look of the dress as well, but there was literally no explanation as to why. Because she was wearing like casual clothes, and then it was like, oh, I'm in a dress themed after the superhero suit I wear.
Yeah, I. Also, Pauline's convinced she doesn't know this for sure, but she's
he's not. I looked it up.
Oh, he's not.
He's
weird
an actor.
Even weirder choice. Okay, what we're talking about is, I'll give this plot point away in this movie.
Oh yeah. Spoilers, baby.
Yeah. So they know that the next element that the, what's her name? What's her deal?
The Kree.
The Kree. Oh, so it is. We're still fighting the fucking Kree.
Yeah, the Kree were
So the Kree. Oh yeah, duh. They're trying to save Hala. I didn't think it was the Kree because she seemed to have her own agenda, that woman. The big bad.
That's what I think confused me and a lot of people early on in the MCU. The main villain of Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan the Accuser, he was the ruler of the Kree. They just don't explain that very well in that movie because it didn't matter back then.
Right.
But cut to this movie, and this Kree-Skrull civil war has been going on forever, and it's the most fucking important war in the whole galaxy.
Right. So, I was gonna say Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers,
Yes, all correct.
is secretly married to the prince of this
Hold on, I got you. I'm
Electric
right here.
Boogaloo.
Prince Yan. Yeah, he's the prince of Aquaquaquaqua, where Electric Boogaloo was shot.
Yeah,
and he was played by Park Seo-joon, who is a South Korean actor, best known for a bunch of stuff I've never heard of. Apologies. It's all American, like, it's all English names for these things. I've just literally never heard of anything this guy's been in.
but
Oh, he was in Parasite. Put that at the beginning. He had a cameo in Parasite.
oh, okay.
Parasite 2018 Best Oscar winner, I think.
He just had a real K-pop vibe about him.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently no connection, which is fine, obviously. But I just wanted to bring up that plot point because it gets brought up. It's clearly a thing, but we never find out why it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole planet was really funny because, like, Monica and Kamala, like, kind of get into it at different intervals. Like, they have different levels of interest in the dancing.
Yeah,
and it's just like, there's clearly a scene where Monica's like, okay, we have to. And then she, like, actually starts to get into it, and it's kind of, like, very subtly, like, funny. That whole planet was silly. But, like, it was intentionally silly.
And then it died.
And then now they have no water. Now there's 0% water. I can only assume.
What if we ever...
What if Hala asked nicely, can we have some of your water? You have a lot of it.
You got a lot of water.
We just need a normal planet's amount. You have 98 point whatever % water. Come on.
What if we return to that planet at some point in the MCU and it's just a desert planet and the people no longer sing, they scream?
Do you want to know who could
Oh yeah, just brush right over that. Great concept, great one. Just throwing it out there. Just brush over it.
I wasn't going to brush over it. I was going to say, do you know who could fix that problem?
Oh.
Is Wave.
Hey. Good point.
Who I'm pretty sure is from Earth, but I don't know.
From the Philippines, specifically.
Right. True, right. Wait, yeah. Yeah, obviously from Earth. I guess what I meant is I don't know where she gets her powers from.
Right.
I don't think she's an X-Men. Maybe she is. I don't know. I've never read anything with her in it.
Speaking of X-Men?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Because
I'm glad you knew that was a question.
That's a whole different. Because I really want to get into that.
Yeah.
Because I have things to say.
Sure.
But yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to bring up in general before we get into that. Because yeah, I really did like the film. I have very few complaints.
I think Wave's powers are similar to a super soldier serum. I don't know about that based on what I've been told about Wave. but okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I do not know anything about her.
I'm so sorry though. Continue.
Other than in Marvel Snap, they just changed her rules so that she doesn't turn all cards to 4 cost for 1 turn. She turns cards that are greater than 4 to 4 for 1 turn, but all the rest of them stay the same. They made Wave better. Wave was already good, and they made Wave better.
Cool.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just trying to. I'm in like wrap things up mode. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to say. I thought it was just a tiny little bit odd that, and this kind of goes without explaining, that Kamala's family moved into Monica's house.
I know. When that scene was happening, I couldn't tell if they were coming or going. I couldn't tell if they were like cleaning out the house or if they were moving in. But I mean, while the scene was happening, eventually I realized they were moving in.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Here's the deal, right? They move out of their house. I'm guessing because it got destroyed, but it wasn't that. You got one room messed up. You lost a lot of furniture. Contractor, take them like a week. You'll be fine.
But if your options are pay a bunch of money to fix this house or move to one that no one's occupying right now for free.
You got to uproot your life though. They just went from Jersey to Louisiana.
Right, yeah.
That's not down the block, you know?
I can only assume concern 1, and this is not part of the movie at all, but I can only assume concern 1 is there a mosque in driving distance to the new house?
Yeah, right. Well, that's definitely a concern for them. The other thing, too, by Miss Marvel Season 2, in her friends, in the relationships we've built and started. Wait, do you think that was intentional? Do you think they were like, this isn't working, this isn't working, this isn't working? If we're going to have a Miss Marvel 2, none of these characters should be in it.
I don't think we're getting a Miss Marvel 2. Not at this point.
Okay, I'll take it then. Then whenever Miss Marvel gets her own movie, I'm sure there will be a B plot of them being like, we miss you, you gotta see us and stuff.
Right.
And then they see her to work together because she's got a very Peter Parker-esque looking boyfriend who does technology, I think.
Yeah. They're not dating, are they? Is that how that show ends, with them dating?
I thought so. I don't remember now.
No, he goes off to like tech college, and he's like, bye later, losers.
Oh, okay.
I think. He's like, you're an X-Men. Nanu. See you later. Okay, 2 things. Well, one thing, and then we're going to talk about the after the credits scene. We got to talk about Kate Bishop. Oh, first I want to talk about Valkyrie, because that was pretty cool. It was a cool cameo.
Yeah.
Valkyrie shows up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do we want to talk about how there were some gay vibes there? And
why didn't they kiss on the mouth?
Well, I think they're teasing it. I think they're teasing it.
Is that what they're doing? I think it would have been cool if it was like, oh, they have an established relationship that we didn't know about.
That's the one everybody's been shipping, right?
Yes.
Them two? Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that she gave her a little peck on the cheek makes me think that, well, these characters aren't gay, but we'll give you gay idiots what you want.
They're teasing.
You think it's gonna...
I think it's intentional. There's no... Okay. Do you know how much they had to like go out of there? They destroyed all of Agents of... No, what show? Secret War. They destroyed all of the plot to Secret Invasion to make that scene happen.
They did, because as I said in the theater, Valkyrie's like, I'll keep the scroll safe, goodbye, and then she bifrosts away, and I was like, back to Earth, I guess, for the scrolls. That was the whole point of that fucking TV show, but back to Earth with her.
So they did all that just to get a scene. They're clearly setting something up. And I think they want to do... I guarantee you we get an update on that in the next Avengers game. And it's going to be... Avengers movie.
Yes.
And it's going to be much more set in stone.
Yeah. Is there going to be, because obviously if there's going to be Captain Marvel 3, that's a question mark. Is there going to be a Thor
4? 5?
Is there? No, we don't know that yet, right?
I don't think we know that yet.
Okay. Do you remember off the top of your head, did we get a Thor Will Return at the end of Love and Thunder?
I believe.
We got a Love and Thunder will return. That's how it. Because it's both. Because he has a kid now.
Right.
Speaking of Thor's kid, let's talk about Kate Bishop, because Kate Bishop shows up in this movie. Because they're finally.
I do also have one small thing I want to bring up, but we can talk about Kate Bishop first before we get into the big thing.
They're finally doing what they've been teasing in the background for years, which is they're setting up a Young Avengers thing.
Officially in this movie, official, can't deny it. We've all known, but like here it is.
The first thing that Kate Bishop says is the one issue that everyone was going to have with it, which is Kate Bishop is a full-grown adult.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just really excited. There's so many of them. There's Ant-Man's daughter. There's Wanda's kids. I don't know if they're still able to be part of this, but they exist. Their powers are pretty cool. There's Thor's kid, who is not from the comics, so she's pretty cool.
Would they get Spider-Man?
I don't.
He's too old, right?
I think the point of no, he's not. But I think the point of Young Avengers is going to be like the
next generation.
Yeah, like I'm sure Hulk's kid is going to be in it. That they tease at the end of She-Hulk.
Do you think Scarlet Witch, Black Widow's sister is going to be in it? Yelena?
No, because she's going to be in Thunderbolts.
Right.
With Bucky and her dad and all that. No, I'm just really excited. Young Avengers is cool. Oh, Kid Loki.
What about Kid Hulk?
That's what I just said. Hulk's son.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, his name is Scar.
Yes, it is.
Skaar.
Did you say Kid Loki?
Kid Loki. Yeah, from Loki season 1.
Yeah.
With the alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Kid Loki. There's this one I actually had to be told about, but there's Isaiah Bradley's kid from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who in the comics is apparently in a relationship with Tommy Maximoff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
The end. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for that, and I think if Miss Marvel ended with Miss Marvel being like, Kate Bishop, it's time, I would have been like, okay. The fact that they waited until the end of this movie that sort of fixed all of our issues with Miss Marvel, I think it was a little earned. I think the scene was cool because Miss Marvel's a big fucking nerd. She's an MCU nerd.
But so she was trying to be Nick Fury.
She literally said half the things he said in that private conversation that to Iron Man and Nick Fury had. So that was cool. What was your thing before we talk about the big thing?
We're never going to get an answer to this, but I like to speculate. There was one scene where you and I were both like, is Miss Marvel sexually attracted to Captain Marvel?
We have to talk about that, yeah. So this is interesting because neither one of us were going to bring this up, but then you brought it up, and you and I had the same exact thought, which makes me think that other people have thought this. People watching live and people watching on YouTube who have seen this movie. There's a scene where Miss Marvel and Monica are in a ship and Captain Marvel is doing cool Captain Marvel CGI powers outside the window. And Monica's trying to figure out something, and she needs Kamala's attention. And Kamala's not paying attention because she's looking at Captain Marvel out the window. And then she says, "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Well, before that, Captain Marvel takes a sexy chest out
her pose. She does her pose.
Yeah, she does her pose
with the leg and the arms and Ms. Marvel says,
"Oh, Captain,
my Captain." Which two things? One, obvious reference to Dead Poet Society, obviously. Two, what was meant to be conveyed through this line is Miss Marvel's obsession with Captain Marvel has come to its peak. Wow, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm not paying attention to Monica. Who even is Monica Rambeau right now? I'm freaking out over. I'm the biggest fan. But the line read, the acting, it was just a little too
sexual.
I don't even want to say sexual. It was just a little too I am horny right now.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be weird because I know Iman Vellani is 21, 22, but Miss Marvel is 15, which is the only reason it's weird.
Right.
And we can't be the only people who got that vibe because it was very instantly I was yucked out. I was that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know if it was just an over-the-top line read and they liked it and they kept it in, but I was just sitting there that really gave off I want to fuck Captain Marvel vibes.
Which I want to stress wouldn't be weird.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Kamala Khan,
I think that goes without saying.
is
It's
a
just that
15-year-old.
she's supposed to be underage.
Yeah.
That's the only weird part.
Yeah, I pray to the good Lord above that it was just a weird line read.
Well, that's why I'm saying we'll never find out, because that storyline will never come to fruition.
Of course, yeah.
That storyline, because she is underage, unless these movies go on for like another 10 years and it's like, now she's 21 and Captain Marvel's like 52, I guess they could be a thing.
Well, no, Captain Marvel, if you notice, does not age.
She doesn't age. Well, she ages. She lives
she
another
literally
year.
ages, but she doesn't.
She doesn't. It doesn't seem like she like the character ages,
right?
But she would be 50 something,
right? Yeah, the same way that Captain America was like 140 or whatever.
Right, exactly. Well, not even, because he's gonna age. It seems like Captain Marvel just might not.
Oh, true. That's right. He did. Right.
She's
right,
like
right,
an elf
right.
for some reason.
Right. Yeah. It's the other thing I will say. Not Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel keeps giving the excuse like, I've been busy for the past 20 years. I think I would really like for the next if they're gonna do a Captain Marvel 3, show that. Like,
I thought we were gonna get some of that in this movie.
Yeah, I wanna see what were you doing. I wanna see the adventures, because you keep using that excuse. You're just like, I was busy saving lives, and it's like, prove it.
Well, you know what's too funny? We just finished Captain Marvel 1 today with John.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing he said was, because I told him, I was like, well, we put this here because if we had put it chronologically where it goes, you wouldn't see her for like a bunch of movies. And what he said to me was, well, what has she been doing since the 90s till when we're going to see her again? And I just said, she's been helping the Skrulls. And he was just very much like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Even
she does, but that's not even the excuse she gives. She just said a lot of people needed me, as if to imply like I've been doing superhero
like
stuff,
Guardians of
not
the Galaxy
on Earth.
type of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm imagining her like a lantern, just out there like stopping crime and fixing planetary issues and stuff.
Yeah,
show us that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Honestly, if she got that, to me sounds like it would be well suited for a TV show. I would watch that TV show. The issue is, I think people would see that as a downgrade. What do you mean Captain Marvel gets a TV show? Fuck you.
Right, because like none of the other TV shows star main characters. Like Loki was a villain, Wanda, Vision, Winter Soldier, Falcon, they're all Hawkeye even, and even Hawkeye's show wasn't about him.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting thought. I really think that I wouldn't mind it if it was like, now that you've seen the Marvels, we're doing Deadpool and this, and we're doing Secret Wars. Oh, we want to do a third Captain Marvel movie. It's going to be another flashback.
You know what? Why not, though? Because they've already established that with the first movie. Yeah. Why not have it take place in the past?
Yeah. No, I really thought back when we didn't know what Captain Marvel 2 was going to be, I thought they were gonna go the Wonder Woman route, where it's like it's another flashback, but it takes place years after the first flashback movie, and I don't think I would have minded that. I really hated it in Wonder Woman because those movies are bad, but I don't think I would have minded with Captain Marvel. But this movie was fine. Also, it was very.
I
good.
will say, having just seen both of them, I do appreciate the linearness of 2.
Oh, I know.
One gets a little not confusing, but it's just, I was sitting there trying to put myself in his shoes, being like, this movie's a little hard to follow.
Nick Fury's?
John.
Oh, yes.
John,
yeah.
watching it for the first
newcomer
time. Who knows nothing about a Captain Marvel or the Skull or the Kree.
I think you and I talk about this during our talk on the Captain Marvel movie, but I think they did that on purpose because, I mean, obviously they did it on purpose, but I think they did it because at the end of the day, her origin story is like really basic. So it's like she got in an accident. She's a normal human who got in an accident and she got goo all over her, and now she has superpowers. The end.
Yeah.
But the way they tell that story is like fucking Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And
with one of the guys from Pulp Fiction in it.
Oh my god. That guy's
actually in the same time period when he would have been making Pulp Fiction.
That's a great point. Yeah, that is a great point. Sam Jackson, by the way, I just want to stress that he is 74 years old.
You know that man was one of the pallbearers for Martin Luther King?
Remind me what a pallbearer is?
Oh, we got to hydrate.
Oh.
Holds the casket.
Oh. So he was all... Why, though? Because he was famous actor Sam Jackson?
No, he was nobody at that point.
Oh, I see.
I think he was just... There's a famous picture of him as a teenager carrying the casket.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I don't know what he did in the scene.
Yeah, I wonder if he's related to the family in a way or something.
You can look into it.
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty sure he's either he might not be a pallbearer. He's marching in the procession.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's a pallbearer.
Okay.
I could be wrong. There's a picture of him at Martin Luther King's procession to the cemetery.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so my Piss app told me that the after the credits scene was very important.
His app that lets him know when to piss during a movie.
Yes. Not sponsored, but it is called Run P. They recently moved to a always free format, so you don't have to watch ads anymore to unlock what they have so gracefully called P coins. This is all real. It's not a joke. It's a great app, especially for someone like me who pisses all the time. So my app told me that the after the credits scene was very important, and I'm glad it did that because it was not a lie. Sometimes the app will be like, there's 2 after the credits scenes. One is nothing, and one is important. I'm like, okay, and I sit there, and I'm like, that was nothing. I don't care about Kit Harington's character in The Eternals. I just don't. But this one was so important, specifically to me, but also to the MCU. So at the end of the movie, Monica does what Iron Man tried to do in the end of Avengers, but she succeeds. She's like, another reality opened up. I have to go on the other side, close it, and then get stuck there forever. And it was really it was sort of not as emotional as it could be. I was a little I expected Monica to show up in the after the credit scene because I was like, if that was the death of this character, that scene would have been scored differently and shot differently, and Captain Marvel would have actually teared up maybe. But it was just sort of happened. I was like, okay, whatever, that's interesting. I'm sure that character will be back in some way. And then she was in the after the credit scene. If you haven't seen it, please go away if you don't want it spoiled, or mute us or whatever. Because holy shit.
We're going to get into it.
She wakes up and she's in a lab and she sees her mom. She's crying.
A younger version of her mom.
Yeah. Young, no cancer, completely alive version of her mom, Maria Rambeau. And she's like, oh, mom, I'm so happy. And then in walks somebody who is blue. And they don't really show it right away. And in my brain, in my piss-filled brain, I was like, I legitimately had this thought. You're gonna think I'm joking, but I was like, oh, the Admiral Thawne reveal. And I was like, wait, that's not how this works. That's not what's happening, clearly. And it wasn't Admiral Thawne, it was Beast from X-Men. But it wasn't just Beast from X-Men. It was Beast from X-Men voiced by Kelsey Grammer, who played Beast in the original X-Men movies. And it camera backs out a bit. You're clearly in an X-Men facility. Name drops Charles Xavier. They played not the music from the 90s TV show that they've been leitmotifing every time they bring up X-Men. They played the score from Bryan Singer's X-Men movies from the 2000s, which I think is a tacit acknowledgement that, yes, that is the universe from those movies.
Right.
And so that's basically the whole scene. Clearly, this is how they're going to do it. Deadpool's on the way.
Do we know when Deadpool's coming out?
June 24th.
June 24th. Okay.
So, yeah, Deadpool's on the way, obviously, but this is clearly how they're going to be and now X-Men are in the MCU because one of ours is over there and all that stuff.
Right.
The character that, real quick, the mom is, her name is Binary. Binary is yet another one of many alter egos for Carol Danvers.
Oh.
So now this actress has played Captain Marvel twice, technically, because she was Captain Marvel in the Multiverse of Madness.
Right. Right.
So I want to...
Brie Larson's Captain Marvel.
Yes.
hints at that, and I was thinking that would make a great What If episode, but it sounds like they're kind of hinting at that anyways. When she's showing Lieutenant Trouble, Monica, the flashback where
and
she's
like, I don't want to be Captain. I wouldn't want to be Captain Marvel.
Well, Monica was like it, or Brie Larson was like, not Monica, Maria, or one of the two of them was like, well, it all came down to that stupid race. It could have been me that day,
right?
But it was you. The race to the, which they actually mentioned in Captain Marvel 1 too, which is cool.
Oh yeah,
they raced to. So I was like, oh, that'd make a good What If episode.
No. Sorry. Yes.
No.
I don't know why I said no.
Podcast over.
No. And then the Peach's Castle theme plays.
But it seems like those universes are the ones where she won the race.
Yeah. I thought that was sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
That was neat, and that was that's what I was gonna say. When she was like, I don't want to go to Electric Boogaloo Planet, I thought what they were gonna do was she managed to get her Captain Marvel powers, but she's been hiding on this planet this whole time, and she didn't want to reveal to Monica that her mom was actually alive. I thought they were doing something like that, but clearly they were just referencing / teasing the fact that in every other universe, Maria Rambeau, it seems like, is Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I want to open back up a discussion that I've had many times about the MCU. Are we going to get X-Men characters recast? Because this is the 4th X-Men character, including Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, that has shown up, and I guess technically 5th if you count Deadpool. This is the 5th X-Men character that has shown up and is still played by the actor who played them in the original movies.
So we got Charles, we've got Beast, we've got Deadpool,
Wolverine.
We've got Wolverine. Who's the 5th?
Quicksilver, the brother from WandaVision.
Oh, right. Technically,
yeah.
Right.
It was a dumb boner joke, but it was still the actor playing the thing, you know?
I think...
And other than that, the only time they've mentioned X-Men is when little shitlord tech college guy was like, by the way, Kamala, you're an X-Men. See you later.
Mm-hmm. I think that's hard confirmation at this point. How many of them are there from the old movies?
Got to be more than 40 at this point.
Really? From the old movies?
Oh, yeah. There's a fuck ton of X-Men, dude.
Oh, okay.
And that number almost doubles when you consider the fact that
there like... there's also almost 40 Avengers, but when you think of the Avengers, you think of the 6. Isn't there like that, with the X-Men too? Isn't there like there's this many of the X-Men from the movies?
Not really. There's so many X-Men movies that they kind of like, the team is like a little tiny bit changed each time. The main character is always Wolverine, right?
Well, it's Wolverine. It's the laser eye guy who I can never remember. It's oh my god, I just said her name yesterday.
Storm.
It's Beast. It's Wolverine. That's in the guy from Deadpool, right?
Or the guy from Deadpool?
The Russian.
Colossus.
Doesn't he show up? No?
Yeah, but it's not like it's not, I don't think it's set up the way you think it is. Sure, there's like the core 5, but like or whatever, core 6 or core 7, but like Beast is only in one of them.
Oh, okay.
Colossus is a bit character in 2, and then he's not a main character until Deadpool. There's a lot of these fuckers, and the number almost doubles when you consider that they did the whole like Hugh Jackman verse, and then they did the like flashback with Fassbender as Magneto and McAvoy as Charles and all that, which Jackman is still a part of. It gets really weird, but it's funny because it gets weird, but then it culminates.
What about Jean Grey? We got Nightcrawler thrown in there.
It's a very interesting setup, but then it culminates with the two universes meeting up in the best X-Men movie they've ever made, which is interesting to me. But no, so there's quite a few of them.
Okay. You know what I was trying to say though, right? Like we probably have 40 Avengers in the MCU,
right?
But when you say the Avengers,
right,
and you're like, who are the Avengers? Go quick.
No, I get what you're saying. X-Men is definitely different.
Okay.
There's obviously Wolverine, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Charles, right?
Yeah.
But like even like Cyclops doesn't last that long. He's dead at the beginning of the 3rd movie. Jean Grey dies at the end of the 2nd movie.
Well, don't spoil it because I was just gonna ask something.
Oh. No, but I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, it
Right.
can like it doesn't matter as far as like who can come back in these
Right,
films. Or
right.
anyways, sorry, what were you gonna ask?
Well, we had Deadpool
Yeah,
coming out
yeah,
in June.
yeah.
Would you be willing to find time with me? Maybe we do a week marathon of trying to you know what? The word of the day is piss. To try and piss through these X-Men movies with me?
Yeah, we could do that.
Cool.
There's how many? There's 3, and then there's those 2. That's 5, and then I think we're gonna say 1, 2, yeah. There's 4 of those. So whatever number I said plus 4, so that's 9, and then there's 2 Deadpool movies. So that's 11.
Oh, I've seen the Deadpool movies though.
Well, if we're gonna watch them all, I think we should rewatch them, especially if we're rewatching them in preparation for Deadpool 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you count Deadpool, that's 11 movies.
We can do that in a day.
Yeah. Well, no, not no. Scientifically
week.
speaking, no. Yeah, no.
week.
We could bang through those.
Here's what I'm thinking. You said it's late June, right?
Yeah, I'll look it up while we're talking.
Well, what I'm thinking is I should be out of school by then. Maybe we could put a week aside, and we'll try and get together 3-4
I'm
times
sorry,
a week.
I was 2 months off. It's July 26th.
Oh, then sometime in June we'll bang through those.
Directed by Sean Levi.
There's the original trilogy, First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, the 3 Wolverine movies, and 2 Deadpool.
3 Wolverine movies? No, there's
Deadpool's
only
with a Z.
There's only 2 Wolverine movies, right?
This is Languel.
There's Wolverine. Oh, and New Mutants. We don't have to watch that one, but we could if you want. It's weird and different.
Is it? Well, I guess we don't know the answer.
I don't. Yeah,
Never mind.
it could. There's 3 Wolverine movies. There's Wolverine. There's X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then there's and then there's Logan. Oh my God, I'm being so dumb. Logan, the one where he's an old man. He has a daughter.
I know about that.
There's that one too. Duh. Yes, of course. There's 3 Wolverine movies. One of them is so good. Yeah, we could do that.
Cool.
Do that. They're
I know.
They dip
I
in
know.
quality far more than the MCU does.
I think those X-Men movies are the reason my dad was very hesitant to get into the MCU.
Sure, yeah.
Because I told him, he was like, well, who's in it? Is Superman in it? And I was like, no, but these guys, the X-Men. And he was like, I don't know. I don't know about that.
There's an X-Men character. It's a bad guy, legacy bad guy, called Toad.
In Vaguely New Mutants, says
Yeah.
like.
I
know Toad. I met Toad's voice actor.
Okay. Delete Mushroom Kingdom Toad out of your brain, because this is a dude who has all the powers of a toad, and he's really gross and slimy. In the movie, he's played by Ray Park, who played Darth Maul.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The end of thing I said.
Does he have a double-sided lightsaber?
No, but he does have
not his hypest role from the early 2000s.
He does have a double-sided tongue.
Does he go like at one point?
No, it's just like
well,
it's
then
got
fuck
like
him.
a divot in it.
Then fuck him.
It gets long and can tickle you from far away like Gene Simmons, but it's got the He's gross, dude. He's a cool part of that movie.
Gene Simmons?
No, I don't think Gene Simmons shows up in an X-Men movie. Maybe he does. I don't fucking know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm waiting for a hard confirmation because there's all these casting rumors. They're talking about Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and they're talking about.
I don't even think that's a rumor. I think they're in talks with Pedro Pascal.
It has not been confirmed yet.
Okay.
Technically. But they're talking about now they're talking about Anya Taylor-Joy as Silver Surfer, and they're casting all these people, and they're talking about fucking Mads Mikkelsen as Dr. Doom.
Gene Simmons only shows up for Scooby-Doo. That's true.
In the worst Scooby-Doo movie. There, I said it.
Damn. We watched it together, right?
Yeah, it was bad. I fell asleep because of how bad it was.
Remember they were like Power Rangers?
Oh yeah, yeah. It as far as I can tell, it's a continuation of Kiss's Rock and Roll Nightmare, which is an actual movie that stars Kiss about a Kiss amusement park where they all have superpowers. Literally the fucking plot of the Scooby-Doo movie, except Scooby-Doo's in it and it's animated. Anyways, now I'm thinking about this. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, no, I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for them to announce like, yes, some of them are coming back and some of them are being recast, or saying like, yes, they're all coming back, you know? Because like some of the people who have come back are old. Like, I'm sure Kelsey Grammer's down to play Beast as long as they want him to, but like, does Patrick Stewart really want to play Professor X until he's dead?
Well, the dude's like doing Broadway shit and stuff too. Like, he's got a life. He's got shit that he does.
Saying, like I don't know.
I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are the odds you keep getting him where he's not busy? He's a working actor.
And then the question becomes like, okay, we have Wolverine and Deadpool, and we have Kelsey Grammer, and we have Quicksilver. But, like,
how long does Hugh Jackman want to fucking do it for? He's wanted to be done for, like, a decade.
He literally quit. And Ryan Reynolds, like begged him to play him one more time.
Right. I think this will be the last installment of Hugh Jackman.
But then the other question is, like, who's going to play Magneto? Is it going to be Ian McKellen, or is it going to be Michael Fassbender?
No,
who's going to be...
That's the other thing, too. I just said Patrick Stewart does like Broadway shit. He's a stage actor. He's a stage actor with Ian McKellen.
No,
they like do shit together.
I understand that, but the point I'm trying to make is like, if we're saying like all the X-Men are like gonna be played by the people who played them, like who's gonna play Jean Grey? Because we have two actresses who played her in the movie. Who's gonna play Storm? Because like there's two. Like, it's a confusing question of like, so we're doing modern day Hugh Jackman? Are we, Wolverine? Are we doing young Storm, or are we doing Halle Berry Storm?
Okay, that now I get. By the way, I was on your side the whole time. Point being, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, they're fucking busy.
Yes, yeah.
Not only are they busy, they're busy together. They're doing shit.
Yes.
So, but I see what you're saying. There's multiple versions of these characters. Who do you get?
Yeah, no,
I think the answer is you get whoever's not busy.
Because
But
like,
there's two, like you said, there's two Magnetos. There's young Magneto. There's Ian
two
McKellen.
Of most of them. There's two Beasts. There's two Mystiques. There's two Charles. There's two Magnetos. There's two Jean Greys. There's two Cyclopses. There's one Kitty Pryde, but you can't get the person who played Kitty Pryde to play Kitty Pryde because it's Elliot Page. And Kitty Pryde is a woman.
Well, Elliot Page seems like he's been down to what's his dead name?
In the show or in real life?
In real life.
Ellen?
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot. I really forgot what the name was. Seems like he's down to play female roles, or at least he did for
one episode, and then they forced that character to have a
yeah. But if this is like a legacy character that he's played before, I don't know. I don't think it would be weird to ask.
Also, fuck it, just make Kitty a dude.
Or you could go that route too.
Like that's the other end of this conversation with who's going to play who, is that none of this matters, and you could do whatever you want. But I think there has to be a hard line, because I think it would be weird if it was like, well, now that Deadpool 3 is over, Taron Egerton, who's never played Wolverine, is going to play Wolverine.
They've got to tie it in.
Kelsey Grammer's going to play Beast, but Fassbender's going to play Magneto. There's got to be some cohesion.
I have a feeling they're going to have to tie.
They have to
figure it out in Deadpool 3.
No, I think they have to make a hard line in the sand. I think Deadpool 3, we know barely anything about this movie, which is great. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a multiverse fuck off, and it's just like a bunch of like maybe Sophie Turner, the woman who played Sansa Stark, maybe she does come back as Jean Grey and dies instantly.
Right,
you know,
right.
Who knows? Like they could do whatever they want in Deadpool 3.
That is an interesting conversation piece, though, that I do want to pick your brain on for a second. Obviously, easiest answer, if they want to get Elliot Page, would say, you know, if for consistency's sake, though, like, easiest option is you just change gender for that character. But for consistency's sake, would it be weird to ask, like, hey, would you care if you did a role as the old character you used to play?
If I was him, I would say no. I would definitely prefer them either gender bend Kitty or get a new actress. Because I think the best way to go about it is get a new actress, an older Kitty, and she's dating Colossus. Because Kitty's whole thing in the comics is that she's a whore and she dates everybody. Or have her date Star-Lord. Because she dates Star-Lord in the comics, too.
That would be good.
She dates Star-Lord, Colossus. She dates Iceman, and she dates who is she dating in the first movie? She dates a ton of people. She dates the guy who in Deadpool 2, who's just a guy. He's part of X-Force, and he's just like, hey, guys.
No, really?
Yeah, she dates that character as well.
He's coming back.
Is he?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's going to be in this next movie.
Hell yeah. This is my girlfriend, Kate. Hello. This is my girlfriend, Catherine. Spell it.
Now I want them... If it's not cool to ask Elliot Page, now I want them to get another actress.
I think definitely get his consent. Like, hey, we want to reboot this character without you. Is that cool?
You're right. I doubt they would do that. I doubt they would. I don't think the studios care enough to like.
I don't think
because it's not.
I don't think
it's not Elliot Page's character.
No, of course not.
But
mean? It's the one that he like helped popularize. You know, so I don't think the studios would do that either. But I think like that's something like a producer or a director would check in on just to see
if he'd want to play it or just say, hey, we're going with somebody. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't even ask because I don't think he would do that.
By the way, just to be clear, my intent with that isn't like ask Elliot Page to play female characters, see if he's down. It's just because it's a legacy character that he played.
Right.
Not just that. I just want to be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. She has there's Days of Future Past, and then there's like director's cut Days of Future Past. And Kitty Pryde has one of the coolest scenes, in my opinion, in that movie. It's not like flashy or like mind bending. It's just like a really cool moment where it's like you didn't have to do that, but you did, and you're a better character because of it. It's cool. We should watch the director's cut when we watch Days of Future Past, because I'd be interested to see what you think watching just that one, because I watched Days of Future Past like 9 times before I realized there was a director's cut, and the director's cut adds a completely new character.
Oh my god.
And by new character, I mean old character. There's
Yeah.
just a character who wasn't in the movie before who got completely cut out, and now she's in the director's cut. There's also a character death where it's like, whoa, that character didn't die in the theatrical version.
Oh, character death. There is a character named Death in Marvel. I was like, Death shows up in
She
the
hasn't
X-Men?
shown up yet, right?
No.
Or they, I guess. They
No.
haven't shown up yet.
Deadpool dates Death.
Deadpool
Wants to
date Death,
date
but
Death.
he can't date them until
He dies.
which he cannot.
Right. What a Shakespearean
I
for that
know.
character.
For Deadpool.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Thanos is in the corner with just like a red solo cup. Like, I'll date you. I could date you. Kill fucking Incredible Hulk. Kill Galactus. You won't even date me. Fucking Deadpool is a big fart joke. I have all the Infinity Stones. Whatever. Did. Fucking Captain America bullshit. I love
this skit.
I love petty Thanos talking to himself about. There's a Thanos annual. It's one of my favorite comic panels ever, where the whole issue, it's like 6 pages or something. The whole point of the issue is there's this one dude who every year on his birthday, Thanos just like fucks with him. Like, he'll like run over his mom. He'll like steals the blanket on his first birthday. And there's this one panel where this dude is carrying his stuff. He's clearly been fired from his cubicle job. And he's walking by, and Thanos is peeking up over one of the cubicles, and he's like, hey. And he's like, let me guess, you got me fired? And Thanos is like, no, that was just bad luck. And he's like, then what? And he goes, your cat's dead.
Why is Thanos in the comics just like a rebel rouser? You know what I mean? Like that. Like he's got the Thanos copter. He's just running around, just making a muck out of shit. Like, at what point does he become a badass? He seems like such a dork in the early comics.
Yeah, he's great. There's this one in that same annual. It's called Thanos Helps an Old Lady Cross the Street, And what he does in the comic is he helps an old lady cross the street, and then that's it. And then there's a woman on the bus that had to stop to let the old Thanos and this old lady cross the street. You see her terrible life that she lives, and then she's in the hospital dying, an old woman, and Thanos comes to her in her last moments and reveals to her that the only reason he helped that woman cross the street is because if he hadn't done that, the woman on the bus would have got to her appointment on time, and she would have had a completely successful, I found the cure for cancer life.
Such an asshole.
I know. That's the only reason he did that, just because he's a dick. It's great. It's great. The Thanos annual. I hate annuals. The Thanos annual is great.
Is it a meme? Like, is it or is it like canonical? Like before he blew up half the universe.
I believe because it's part of the Thanos wins run. I think the one-offs in the annual.
Oh, he's just fucking around. He accomplished it. And now he's just fucking around.
No. These are
I would
separate.
Love that.
That is what Thanos' wins is about. But it's Thanos wins itself is not a comedy. But most of the annuals are supposed to be funny, and they really are. But I'm pretty sure the annuals are canon. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I wish they would.
So the arc where Thanos is just being a dweeb.
Yeah.
The conceptually that is happening, and canonically that is happening after he successfully completes the Infinity War saga.
I think no. The impression I got was that the Thanos in Thanos Wins is the Thanos that successfully won the Infinity Saga, and then you see what happens with that. And what happens with that is one of the greatest comics I've ever read. But my impression was that the annual Thanos was like canon Thanos, the one that lost and still gets to live and like try to fail, unsuccessfully pursue death as a romantic interest. And,
oh, that's right. Oh my God, you weren't even joking. He does try to do that. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Literally the plot of Infinity War. He's trying to impress death. That's why he has the gauntlet.
In the comics.
In the
not
comics,
not the movie. Yeah.
In the comics in the comics, spoiler alert, I guess. Well, spoiler alert definitely for Infinity War. Replace Iron Man with Nebula. That's how it happens in the comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like Endgame? Like what happens in Endgame?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She does exactly what she does. She takes them all and she's like, I feel the power. I'm going to use it to stop you though.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry about the Thanos tangent.
That was my favorite part of this whole podcast. You're shitting me? I didn't realize those were I knew they were real, but I didn't realize that they were that's where they fall.
Oh,
in the timeline.
I'm pretty sure.
That's hysterical.
Because
I love it.
After Infinity War, after Infinity
so
Gauntlet,
he loses, they let them live, and now he's just a dick in downtown New York. That's the idea?
Basically, yeah. Cause
awesome. What else are you going to do, I guess?
Because after Infinity Gauntlet, which is what it's called in the comics, they don't really do much with it. There's not really much you can do because then, it was such a big event. Infinity Gauntlet was as big, if not bigger, than Crisis on Infinite Earths was, you know? So they don't really, I love the tangent. So they don't really, you can't make Thanos, villain of the week. Oh, no, in issue 32 of Spider-Man, he's going to fight Thanos. No, he's not. What do you mean? No, he's not.
Right.
So Thanos...
He either wins or he loses.
Thanos... Exactly. And when he wins, we get to find out what happens. And when he loses, we all know what happens, right?
Yeah.
And every other time, he's just sort of he's either... What he becomes is... hey, we're the good guys and we're super desperate. We need your help for a few panels. Or he becomes this Dick Lord meme.
That's my favorite version of Thanos.
No, it's great. It's great.
And he gets the Thanos copter.
Yeah, at some point he has a helicopter. I don't know much about that.
That looks like his head.
I know the Thanos copter exists. And there's toys.
I'm pretty sure it looks like his head. Either that or it just has a nice logo of his head on it.
It's just for toys though, right?
Oh, the Thanos copter? Are you kidding me? Does a Thanos copter exist as a toy? I want it.
Probably, right? Copter is not a real word, so it won't. Hold on. Thanos copter. Oh, yeah, the Thanos copter's in Loki.
What?
Yeah. Loki season 1, when they're in the,
I must have known that at one point.
Yeah, look. Here's a side-by-side. It even says Thanos on it. Yeah, check this all the way out. it's not shaped like his head. You were wrong about that, but it's yellow. It says Thanos on it, and there it is in the comic, and there it is in Loki.
Amazing.
I forgot.
Incredible.
It's like not even like you will notice that.
Right.
That's cool. I forgot it was so like prevalent in the shot. Yeah, Thanos is cool. I don't really know what we were talking about. I think
the Marvels at one point.
I think we were talking about the Spitfire or something. That's another Carol Danvers
spin-off, other universe, alter ego.
Alter ego. There you go. You got it.
We've been podcasting about this for an hour in almost 40 minutes.
And now we're done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us talk about movies and Thanos. A good 15 minutes of that was Thanos talk, which I don't mind.
No. When we listen, one of my favorite superhero things, we never talk about this. There's never a reason to bring it up, but whenever I can bring it up in conversation, is the fact that he's just a loser sometimes. He's just a shitlord.
Yeah. That's why Thanos Wins is such a perfect name for a run, because he always loses.
Mm.
That's why Infinity War was so like, oh, fuck. Because Thanos won.
Yeah.
There's no denying it. Thanos is basically the main character of that movie, and then he wins. And then you're like, and then you as an audience member, an audience member and the people on screen go, well, what the fuck now?
Right. And at the very end, all it says, I was thinking about this on the ride home today, it just says Thanos will return.
Exactly. Because no shit. It's not going to, because like their other option is like all the Avengers whose contracts are running out will return for one more movie and that's it. Like that's their other option. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.